Hello and welcome, people. This is the introduction to the Navamsha studies. We have to understand some basic principles going forward before we get into the heart of the Navamsha studies. Okay, so I'll start first with the house relationships. This one being 212 house relationship. Every house in your astrology chart, natal, Navamsha, and divisional, has a relationship. One of them is 212. Now, what is the 212 relationship? It is shared between two adjacent houses, let's say second and third house, first and second house, and so on. Okay, these are adjacent relationships of the houses. Pay careful attention, it is the houses we are talking about. The first house and the 12th house, for example, the first and second house, seventh and eighth house, fourth and fifth, and so on. Number two, every house is second from its previous house. Okay. So for the 12th house, first house is the second house, right? It's the next one. And the one behind it becomes the 12th from itself. That means for the first house, 12th position is the 12th house. From the second house, the 12th position is the first house, and so on. Number three, when considering 212 relationship, also consider qualities of the signs. Now we come to the signs. Like the second place, you consider as behaving like Taurus. The second house, the traditional second house from the ascendant of Aries. Yeah. And 12th, like Pisces, for example. And assign attributes of similar nature of the signs to the houses. You understood that? So, for example, number four, second from a house shows aspects of family, food, wealth, and speech, all Taurus like attributes. Okay? These are the attributes of Taurus. Stands for family, food, wealth, speech, money, even. Whatever you consider as a resource, Taurus stands for resources. And 12th from a house, one before it, like for Taurus it is Aries, shows loss of a quality, loss in terms of spending, money, in terms of isolation, in terms of foreign lands, distant lands, independent attitude, and so on. Okay, the next rule here being the rule of natal versus Navamsha itself. Okay, what is natal versus Navamsha? Number one, natal chart is all about physical body, personality, physical events of life, everything that is physical, your physical body. Even the 1 to 12 houses stands for specific places in the human body. For example, Pisces stands for feet, Aries stands for head, and everything in between stands from head to feet. Fifth house stands for the stomach. So it's all about physicality, physical events, physical personality, and it comes and goes as the physical events of life, as jobs, as people, as relationships, as money, as health, change in personality, change in desires, and so on. That's the natal chart. Navamsha, on the other hand, is all about your internal self, your soul self, your internal drives as you mature. Now, typically, most astrologers agree that it is considered to mature, or Navamsha is supposed to kick in at 32 years of age or onwards of a person's life. Everything beyond 32 years or 36 years, some astrologers say, considering maturity of Saturn. Or even after you have an intimate relationship of any kind, Navamsha starts off. So even if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you are starting your Navamsha straight away. Okay, even if it's at an early age. Keep this in mind. Number three, for transits and remedies of any kind. Now, so many people are giving out remedies on YouTube and online and on classes. Remember this, for transits and remedies, only take the natal charts. They are consulted because it has to do with the physical aspect of our life. What comes and goes. See the point number one. So remedies and transits are only applicable or should be applied to natal chart and not to Navamsha or any further divisional charts, because natal chart has got still the highest number of points in Vedic astrology, and they are all about physical events and physical bodies. Everything physical in nature, everything in 3D. Number 4, the way to understand natal Navamsha relationship is study natal chart as the basis. That's a foundational basis. Navamsha as the means the soul is using to accomplish that which is already there in the natal chart. So essentially speaking, Navamsha ascendant, planets, etc. are mapped back into the natal chart to compare and study where the position of the sign planet has shifted and where is the area of focus of life, work, health, relationships, the soul desires to experience. Once we understand the basics of the house, the sign, the planet, the house relationships, only then can we begin to understand the process of study of planets, case studies, Atma Karaka, and so on. Okay, keep this as the basis of all understanding as we go further. Let's consider the 2-12 relationship, for example, for an Aries ascendant chart, which you can see over the screen. So for an Aries ascendant, first house, the personality, the head, it shares a 2-12 relationship with the second house, which means for the second house, the first house becomes the 12th house, the 12th place. And for the first house, second house becomes the second house. So these two share a 2-12 relationship. And therefore, the rulers also are to be considered. The sign aspects are to be considered. For example, for the Aries, it looks at home, family, for the sake of considering it as a resource. Because remember, Taurus is resource. So it looks at the home and family as a source of resource, as a source of wealth, food, etc. Aries learns its speech from the second house because second house is the place of speech also. Let's take another example. Let's take 4 and 5 in an Aries ascendant. Okay? Because ascendants change, the relationships change, the lords of the houses change, and so on. For Aries ascendant, the 4th and 5th house share a 2-12 relationship, meaning 5th house standing for the sake of education. It stands for education, it stands for intelligence, love and romance, children, and so on. So for an Aries ascendant, 5th house being the house of children, if you focus too much of children, there is loss of peace of mind. See, this is why children cause loss of peace of mind at home. For an Aries ascendant especially, because 4 and 5th will always be the same. They share a 2-12 relationship. You can take this to other attributes as well, because 12th place from Leo is Cancer, anywhere, in any ascendant. Which means if you have to carry out education in something, you have to lose sleep over it. If you have children, if you focus too much efforts on children, you lose peace at home. Children can become the cause of disruption within home, loss of peace at home, because 4th house stands for peace, it stands for local land, it stands for home. You see how this works. At the same time, 4th house also stands for mother. 5th house here stands for the sun, ruled by the sun, so father. So mother takes care of the father. It contributes. Mother looks at the father as the source of resource, Taurus-like. So the mother of the house considers the father as the source of all the wealth, all the speech, all the resources that you might gather. The one who brings in food at home, because this is second from Cancer. So I'm putting number of things here together, as you can see. I'm taking the 2-12 relationship, number 1. Also, I'm taking Cancer and Leo and applying it to that. You need to keep this in mind for all 2-12 relationships. Let's take another 2-12 relationship, let's say for a Gemini ascendant. I'll take various examples from various ascendants so you get a broader picture of this 2-12 relationship. For a Gemini ascendant, house number 10 is ruled by Pisces. House number 11 is ruled by Aries, as you can see, it's marked. Okay? Which means if we apply the 2-12 rule here, Gemini people, Gemini ascendant will experience career, work as losses, because Pisces stands for losses. They will spend a lot of their energy in terms of career, but they perceive it as a loss because Pisces is the sign of loss. They might even go and work in isolated places. This is the sign of isolation. Remember 12th house. Remember Pisces. Okay? 12th house and Pisces have an equivalence there. So everything concerned with working in isolated places, foreign lands, okay, spending money, everything. Whereas their house of gains or 11th house is Aries. So Gemini's thought process will be something like, I have lost so much of things in my career, I need to start something new, because Aries is the initiator. Aries wants to begin something new. It always starts something new. So for a Gemini ascendant, it will perceive Aries or everything sitting in the 11th house, which is ruled by Aries, as the source of starting something new. I want to start a new business. Gemini is very business minded, for example. I want to have a new kind of business to earn money, because 11th house is about earning money, gains, income, and so on. It's always worried about different kind of losses which is happening in Pisces. To compensate it, it will try to bring in, I need to start something new to earn the money. I need to have a new kind of business or new kind of career, or I need to take a job or multiple jobs. You see? Different source of income to start something new. Aries is starting something new. Pisces is where it is perceived as loss. That's Gemini, for example. A Leo ascendant, on the other hand, let's take the case of 6th and 7th house of a Leo ascendant. Both are ruled by the same Lord, Saturn here. So 6th house of daily work is ruled by Saturn. So they tend to become workaholics. They work a lot. Everything they have to go slow and through dutiful work every single day in the form of daily routines. They have to work. Workaholic Leos. But they will also tend to complain that the all gains which I am doing by work is taken by the spouse. My wife spends every money that I earn. It's not coming to me. The gains of my work, hard work, are going into the wife. Why to the wife? Because it's the 7th house. Aquarius is sitting in 7th house. So my wife goes and spends it probably on all unnecessary things. It's Aquarius. All unconventional stuff. Right? Aquarian-like energy. Think of Aquarius here. That might be the case for Leos as a general theme. There are no planets I'm taking. I'm just taking rulers, placements, and 2-12 relationship. Whereas the wife, on the other hand, being ruled by Aquarius, Capricorn is 12th from Aquarius. So she considers, the wife in this case, for a Leo ascendant, considers the husband as a workaholic. He's never available to me. Loss of husband to work. She says husband is always at a workplace, always in his shop, always in his business. See? So she goes and does things and leads her own life, for example. They get very heavy duty kind of spouses because they end up doing all the work and complaining that wife is spending all the money, whereas the wife thinks husband is never available at home, always working. 2-12 relationship. Loss of husband's presence, not necessarily life. And this one works for the sake of giving gains to the wife who is in the 7th house. You see how I'm coming to this understanding? Let's take another case. Let's take Scorpio ascendants now, and houses 2 and 3 for Scorpio, which are 2-12 relationship again. Let's see the house number 3 first, which is Capricorn. Okay, so it's all about work. Scorpios have to do slow and steady work through life in order to gain skills. They don't get it at stretch because there is Saturn ruled Capricorn there. Slow and steady work through life, slow gains. Okay, so they have to work a lot in order to gain any skill, any talent, cultivate their skills. On the other hand, second house is ruled by Jupiter. It is ruled by wisdom. It is ruled by guidance of all kinds, wisdom of all kinds. So they consider their house as the source of their wisdom, wherever they gain their wisdom from. But in order to apply it and develop skills, they have to work very hard. You see? So 12th from 3rd is the second house. So whenever they work, they feel that loss of wisdom within themselves. They feel a loss of speech. They become very quiet. Scorpio goes introvert when it is starting to develop a skill. They need to do it in quietness, not in surroundings. Because 12th, there is a loss of speech because Sagittarius is a quiet sign, it's a muted sign. So Scorpios will generally tend to do slow and steady work in the house of skill development in order to develop wisdom through life. And they will do it quietly because suddenly there is loss of Jupiter when they are working here. 9th and 10th share wisdom and loss of wisdom to daily work relationship. Okay. So that's the way you analyze this. If you have some questions, leave it in the comment box. I shall try to answer it. But try to reason this logically first. Just the 212 in every ascendant. I'll see you in the next one.